Clap.
Just one clap.
1, 2, 3, action. Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Abraham's Tablet. Today I'm talking to Cade Hatterley. He is one of the longer tenured sales guys at Bright House now, sadly. But we're gonna try to keep our conversation mostly to solar stuff. It seems like that's the niche that people want to hear from me about. They're not interested in my religious rants or my political ravings, which is fair enough. I guess it's really solar that I'm an expert in, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on for a little bit. So I'm going to talk about what's going on in the solar industry right now, what 2025 looks like versus 2026, and it's going to be sales oriented, but it's also going to be homeowner oriented. So I think that your perspective, Cade, as you've kind of come into solar and you have a year of this overwhelming experience, learning everything, you'll have a unique perspective, and we'll just have a conversation about what programs are going on right now, what's going on with the tax credit, and you'll find that we don't agree on everything, and we work together. So it just gives you a little taste of how confusing the solar landscape is today. And like, for example, when I get on with customers, like I did last week, and the customer's like telling her friend, "Oh, don't listen to these solar guys. I have solar and I'm the expert." And she's like, "Well, you do not want to do the prepaid PPA because you want to claim the tax credit." And I'm like, "Ma'am, like, you can't claim the tax credit. It's 2026." And she's like, "No, we can. So thank you. We're going to go ahead and forgo the prepaid PPA." And all I can do is roll my eyes, but I understand where she's coming from, because I wouldn't trust a sales bro at my house either, because half the time they don't. But let's just give the audience some context. Cade, if you could tell us a little bit. I know your story's crazy and long and wild. But
so say which part? Which season?
We want to know your background. I do think that in reality, the few people that listen, your story, if you want to get into the religious part of it's interesting as well. If you want to talk about that, kind of where you're at today and what your journey's been like. But I think your professional career and what's it been like moving into solar is interesting as well.
Okay.
So just whatever comes to you.
I started my career in mortgages and did that for about 12 to 15 years. I can't really remember because I'm old and not exactly sure how long that went. Then I started some small businesses. I taught Krav Maga for a season, about 5 or 6 years, which was a lot of fun in Wilmington. Once I moved here, I got into personal training as well. Mind, body, nutrition, breathing techniques, really how to eat for your brain type to really kind of help with cognition, anxiety, things like that, different workouts. And then I went back into, I would say, the real market, because I kind of felt like I was not in the real market, just doing that side hustle. But I got into influencer marketing, SEO marketing, working with a company called SAP, which most of you have probably heard of, one of the big companies. I had a 5-year contract with that. That contract ended, and then I tried to get into a bunch of startups. I was working with a company called Nexus Gel Blasters. They were trying to basically make Halo in real life with like these awesome vests and scoreboards, and they're in a lot of the Dave & Buster's type locations now. They're going into Europe and whatever, but they ended up, they had a lot of debt, and so they had to do a lot of restructuring and weren't able to complete their contract with me. And then luckily, I was introduced to you, and you were like, "I think maybe you could come in here and teach Krav Maga and see what else happens." And then from there, the faucet opened. It was, we remodeled this place, hired sales teams, did training, hit the doors, and I really started to understand this is a solar coaster. There's so much information, so many different nuances in each loan product or PPA. The landscape's always changing. And then, like you said, this particular market has been very well hit, right? It's been one of the Sunrun's biggest sales locations for 5 years, and you've done well here too. We have great sun hours. But yeah, I've learned a lot here. And it's really just about, like you said, educating people. Because a lot of us, especially me, we think we know something about solar because I got solar in my house, but really we don't. right? Really, we don't understand it. Like that lady, she just doesn't happen to be in the industry and know that tax credit's gone away. Unless, we have that safe harbor clause through Suncheck and some other things that you were strategic to have. What she's saying just isn't accurate.
Right. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing and kind of catching us up. The landscape's crazy right now. There's so much misinformation. I posted a video. I did a HELOC training on IQGen, and I just recorded it, and the AI kind of spit out all these shorts. And there's like a few shorts of me talking about, it puts a lien on their home, but there's no payments. And then like that gets realized in 10 years. And then you can either refinance it with the increased equity at that point, or you can pay it off. And like all the comments are just like scammer, fraud, this is a lie. And I just kind of roll my eyes. It's like the whole point of this video was to educate you guys on a product that you don't know about.
Right.
And they're like, don't listen to this guy, HELOCs have monthly payments. I'm like, some HELOCs have monthly payments, but this particular project doesn't. So I do think the longer form is what's helpful because people can get a lot more context and get an idea of what's going on. But people only watch the short form.
Sure, yeah.
So all it does is create more arguments. And I don't know what's up with TikTok, but I've never had a positive comment. It's like TikTok just pushes it out to the haters, it seems. So yeah, tell us about your first year at Bright House. What exactly that roller coaster was for you, and feel free to talk about what we did with hiring on, why guys fell off, what we're doing differently this year.
Yeah, I mean, we had a mixed bag of talent. We went through different directors of sales, a lot of which, were kind of all talk. Yeah, sure, why not? They were kind of all talk, weren't really leading from the front.
Or that guy?
Yeah.
Travis?
Yeah, Travis, yeah.
You should tell that story.
Well, we had a gentleman move from a different market. I can't remember which parts on the East Coast.
Yeah,
supposedly
like Baltimore
was
or something.
A stellar door knocker. It's been in the game for a while. But this was a different market. So what he was using before, even though he had some strategies, they just didn't translate to here. Then I think also as we followed Repcard, or back then we were using NZ or something.
Before that we were using
Taros.
Taros was supposed to be the best thing since split cheese. And then, and then NZ is supposed to be amazing. We spent 10 grand on NZ up front.
Yes.
And then we ended up switching to Repcard, and all the while just burning money.
Yeah. But like I said, I think when we started monitoring, he wasn't really hitting the doors, was having friction with the team members. A lot of egos were involved. I think we found that firing faster is better, right? As soon as there's a disconnect, it's not the same energy. It makes the whole team start to feel that, and it causes an unresonance. And I think we went through a lot of that, where we'd have different sub-factions and factions, and then, of course, we paid for a lot of housing, and they did not treat the housing at all good, which has cost us another ton of money.
Tell us that story.
Yeah, so we ended up trying to get an Airbnb, and this market, I don't know if it's because of solar guys or whatever, it was a limited pool. So we found this beautiful house.
Midsummer, there's no Airbnbs on the market.
There's no Airbnbs. Almost all the Central Valley is like that.
It's crazy.
And I think it could be because of a lot of
it's door-to-door.
The door-to-door guys.
Yeah.
But we had this wonderful lady named Michelle, recently divorced, kind of built her dream home, baby grand piano, nice everything. And we told them all, guys, this is way too nice for you, but it's all we could get, so please respect it. And flash forward to the end of the summer, they broke half her glasses, they stained the carpets, they put a hole in the wall. The neighbors said they were cycling people in and out. They broke outdoor tables, they somehow messed up the pool got all gross.
They stained the carpet, broke the window coverings, what do you call those?
Yeah, I can't remember
It's like some nice, unique wooden furniture that they just put outside in the rain.
Yeah, in the sun.
I went there after we fired a few of them, and they had been putting the trash on the side of the house.
And not taking it out.
All summer long. So I have a video, just thousands of maggots.
Probably thousands and thousands of maggots. It was so gross. We had to throw that in your truck, which was horrible. But yeah, they broke the dishwasher. They broke her TV in her master bedroom, which I don't even know how you break a TV.
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
it was just
unbelievable. So
it
we
was
lose our
wild.
safety deposit, and
Plus $1,500 more bucks.
and like that was her being nice, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, it's so sad. Nothing but love for each of those individuals, but as a whole, it's a den of thieves and freaking demons. They're sitting at home, not working, getting drunk, doing drugs, inviting girls over, and it's just like free housing and Tinder time. So, you know, I'm dealing with some reps where they come into my office and they take everything for granted. They take like, oh yeah, you provide housing and cars, but every company does that. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
No, not every company does that. And it's not free. And I've learned my lessons. I'm not going to have anyone, this is my dominion, this is my jurisdiction, and I'm going to be accountable for it. And I'm going to be the one answering to Michelle and fixing the people that I let stay in her house. You know, and we should have had better eyes on it. We should have had better leadership. Like you said, we should have fired faster. When I look back at 2025, it kind of blows my mind how dumb a lot of the decisions that were made were. Because this isn't my first year. This is year 6.
Right.
And yet I still feel like I learned so many things. I think maybe what's different now is now I've like really stepped into a surety of I know it. I've already been through it. I'm going to trust my intuition, and like this isn't going to work out. You know, it's like and like you said, like you can't have all these little factions. I want to start a company where we're really like aligned at the base. Like you and I feel like we're aligned. Like you don't think I'm an evil person trying to steal from you. Like we're just trying to like come in every day, work hard, be diligent, and reap a reward, reap a fair harvest for our work. And that's the problem with the solar industry is some scam kid got lucky at some point and made a bunch of money. And then he thinks he's worth that amount of money, even though he hasn't learned the principles of wealth, you know, development. So this year I'm all about focusing on the principles I know to be true. I'm not interested in all the semantics. I had a rep in my office yesterday. I don't like how we're rolling out the self-gens. We need to have the setter closers because of all these reasons in my head and my experience. And my answer was, no, like I'm not going to sit here and debate anymore. It's like I have a vision, I'm paying for everything, and we're going to execute that vision. And I'm excited to see what implications that has for this year. I'd rather have 2 reps that are aligned with me than
right.
we probably got up to 50 reps that weren't aligned at all and just burnt money and
just burn a lot of energy. Just trying to lead them, call them at night, get to know them. I mean, that's one thing that I definitely think is a good move that you're doing, is be very selective who's in the team and make sure we can give them the attention they need and they can get with the right members of the team. But it just having bodies, it drains a lot of energy for no results.
Yeah.
And of course, some things weren't even your fault, like promises by S-Chip, promises by Thrive, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars that just with an email, sorry, we can't do this, you know, and that tarnished your reputation and like people were upset. But I know, because I'm in the meetings, we talk about it, that had nothing to do with us.
Well, and I have the meetings recorded and posted on YouTube where I said, hey guys, we're rolling out this Thrive S-Chip stuff. I've never done it before. My rule in solar is never trust anything until it's money in your bank account. Do not sell this unless there's nothing else you can do. Right. They don't want any of our normal offerings. You just have to you're already there, you've already set the appointment, you're already in-house, you don't want to waste all of that time. Go ahead and try to sign them up for free solar. Do not count on it. And I said it right on recording, and it's in front of everyone. And yet how many guys, you can name their names, probably 20 guys, are out there saying, oh, I signed up all these S-Chip deals, I'm waiting for all my S-Chip money, Tom just never came through with that. So like, there was this, what was this weird theme of like people being in our house, ignoring the things that I said, and then still wanting to be in our house. It really reminds me of that parable of the wedding, where the bridegroom's throwing this wedding party, and he sends out invitations, and he sends out a garment, and he's like, this is the wedding garment, put the wedding garment on, and then come to the party. And like no one wants to come. Like some people are like, oh, it's, you know, I'm busy, oh, like I'm taking care of my stuff. And so then he gives invitations to like everyone, like anyone, you know, not even like the rich people, just like whoever wants to come. I'm having the party and you got to come. All you got to do is, here's the wedding garment, wear the wedding garment. And then there was people in the wedding, in the party, that he discovered inside the house that weren't wearing the garment. And he asked them, hey, how is it that you came to be at the wedding but you aren't wearing the garment. Like we said in the invite, you can come, but just wear this wedding garment. And they had no response, and they were cast out, and there was weeping and gnashing of teeth. But that's exactly what I feel like last year was for me, is like there was just this big organization, but they weren't listening to me, and there was resentment towards me, and there was a lack of respect, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that part of that was growing too fast and not having a solid foundation. A big part of that was like, why would I ever have a car group or a house without a leader that I trust, that's unified and loyal with me, And then even like down to our leadership, I would say things in a meeting with you, and I'd say, okay, you're going to go execute this, sales ops manager, or you're going to go execute this, president of sales. And then whatever we agreed on and talked about in that meeting just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't execute. So I'm excited for a future where our leadership is just unified. I think that even if I'm not perfect, there's so much more power in unity than in whatever that was.
Yeah.
Disunity.
No, and I mean, at least in-house, Miles, Mark, and I get along immensely well. We talk about everything. We double check our own minds to make sure before we reach out to you. So I think we have a very solid thing there. What you've done with our new team seems to be fantastic. Like I said, you're probably going to have some pruning coming up. We'll see what happens. But we definitely have a foundation. And like I said, I'm really excited about some of these director of sales people that we've met, and being able to maybe pull them and be part of the family.
That call you got me on yesterday, literally the 4 best interviews I've ever had.
The best talent I've ever found.
In 4 years. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden in one day, and they're all available and trying to come in.
Yeah.
So,
I've been mind blown by that, because we've gone through a lot of Indeed people, and I would say on the sales rep side, I still haven't found the super talent that I want. But as far as these individuals actually having real records, have done it, want to do it, are in it, this is the first time we've got that kind of group.
Yeah, and that's like kind of the spiritual message I'll share, not to do too much, but the moment that I kind of let go of this need of I was allowing bad relationships because I felt like I needed people, or I was afraid of being alone, or I had a fear of not being enough, or something like that, or I didn't trust my intuition, and I tended to have a bad relationship, a relationship I knew was bad, but I thought it was going to benefit me. Right. This is a person that's kind of a toxic relationship, but I'm going to make money off of them, so I'm really winning. And the moment I kind of just decided that I'm only going to align with people that have the same vision with me, that have the same energy, that want to have integrity, that understand why it's so important to do right by the customer, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to stick to that vision, and I'm going to stick to that vision at all costs. The moment I let it go and I was willing to lose anything and everything was the moment where the universe started conspiring in my favor. And Miles can attest to our bank account, just how every week, a miracle happens exactly when we need it to happen so that we can do this and make that happen, or, because we've had to adjust with, Thrive owing us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the SGIP, we spent $100,000 on engineering that never came through, and just this trusting that's come from that. And I was kind of throwing out faith before of I'm faithful, but now I'm faith means really believing that it's going to work out, and kind of getting my nervous system and my energy in that space where I know it's going to work out, and then behaving as if I know it's going to work out, versus I'm doing everything I can, working 1,000 hours a week, creating this anxiety, which is really telling the universe that I'm in a state of lack. Why do I need this so bad? Because I'm lacking something. Well, kind of detaching from that and finding that I don't need anything. I have everything I need right now. I'm actually really blessed. But even if I wasn't really blessed, I would still have air. You can't take that, and just knowing that it's all going to work out and the universe is conspiring in your favor. There's a word for that. Instead of being a pessimist and thinking everything's conspiring against you, being faithful instead of fearful. And so as I've done that, people like these 4 people that kind of just fell in our lap, I'm not saying they're all going to work out, but I know that God's going to put the people in our place now that we're ready. He was preparing us. It wasn't about anything else other than us and our own preparation, or my own preparation.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to talk about really quick is SGIP. So SGIP stands for Self-Generation Incentive Program. Everyone in California that's heard of free solar, oh, my buddy got free solar, I'm not going to do a PPA, I'm not going to do a loan because I'm going to get free solar, usually was through one of these SCHIP programs. Like PG&E has $100 million that they're going to give out to solar so they can get a tax write-off and whatever they're doing. I'm sure that the money pans out for them in some way. And so we got an opportunity to be one of those contractors that could submit for SCHIP through a partnership. And so we went out and signed up 100 people, and we paid $500 of rushed permits to get it all ready before the deadline. And it cost us $50,000 for engineering. And I told everyone, this sounds too good to be true, because combined with Thrive, it's like it's a fully free system. Usually maybe they're only covering 70%, but because we're getting the tax credit too, it was going to cover the full thing. So SCHIP, I was just with a customer the other day that said, I'm going to wait until I can get free solar. So now at least I have that. I must have lost a lot of money, but at least I can say, look, I've tried it. I've submitted 85 applications and it never came back. I never got. There's some people that get SCHIP, they specialize in it. The moment the gates open, they submit all the applications. That's all they do all year is get applications to get that money. But at the end of the day, I feel like I went all in on it. I spent all the money. I signed all the deals, and I didn't get one SCHIP approved. So I wouldn't wait for SCHIP if I was a homeowner. I would just get solar. In the meantime, you're paying PG&E every month, and that money's just going out the window. So I keep getting like, I had an appointment last night. Oh, they don't really want to, pay for anything. It's like, you're already paying this.
Right.
It's like, I'm not asking for your money. I'm asking for you to give me the money you're giving to PG&E. But you've been more working the commercial side this year.
Yeah.
How's that been going? Do you feel like commercial, they're more reasonable, they understand the value?
I think it's hit or miss, depending on the lead and the size of the company. But like I said, luckily lately, they've been very reasonable. It's all pragmatic numbers. The coolest thing about commercial right now is for the next few months until July 4th, you can get up to 60% tax credit. So you get the regular ITC 30%, domestic content through our suppliers for that. Then low income and energy communities, you're getting 60% back, even for a nonprofit as a direct pay.
Low income?
Yeah, it's in a low income area.
The LADWP?
Yeah.
Is Fresno low income?
Different areas are, yeah. The temple over in, the temple that I'm doing off of Locan, I think it's still in low income area.
Can I get like a map?
Yeah, there's maps online.
If for our PPA, would we get 50% back?
I think so. Because if you're doing your own PPA, that's what the commercial PPA companies do. They install your whole system, they apply for the tax credit and get their 50-60% back, and then have you having to buy power from them. And we're waiting for our numbers back on our first commercial PPAs for 100 kilowatts and above to see how they look. We've got a 400 kilowatt, we got a megawatt, we've got a couple 100 kilowatts. What's happened there is because of bad actors, they don't want to have their own system and take the tax benefits, even though mathematically it's way better for them in the company with the depreciation and all the savings. You can take it 3 years back and up to like 10 or 15 years forward. There's just so much income for them. But because people have had the systems installed and they never got turned on, the company went bankrupt and disappeared, never finished the job, they just want to have a PPA for peace of mind. So they have to take care of it for the 25 years.
Are we going to sign up that company that already has the solar panels on the roof?
That's the megawatt one we're waiting for. I've got the other two submitted. I'm trying to see those numbers because we also have that geothermal option. So we have to look at what's best for them and what's best for us. The only thing about him is we'd have to remove all those panels they put up 10 years ago they never turned on.
This is a crazy story. This customer has a megawatt of solar on the roof, like 1,000 panels, and none of them work. The company, they paid a down payment, they did all this work, and they just never got it working and disappeared.
Yep. 10 years ago, just walked away.
And they paid them in full?
Paid like $1 million.
That's so criminal. How does geothermal work?
Geothermal is pretty cool. So this company's been out of Florida. They've been tinkering with this technology for like the last 5 or 10 years. They basically use like a liquid hydrogen. They have water hit it, and that creates a steam, and it captures all the electricity and it produces nonstop. So you've got water coming in, you've got a big nitrogen tank that they keep full, and it just continually makes basically like vapor without having any fire or anything. It's just using liquid nitrogen and water.
Where does the water come from?
You pipe it in. It's part of your build. You tie into the system.
How much does liquid nitrogen cost?
I think it's more expensive, but once again, it's a PPA. So we signed them on a contract, say for 18 to 19 cents a kilowatt, and that's what it produces. At least the one I looked at, it produces a megawatt a month, always, no matter what the weather's like. So like, we haven't talked about this, but I would love to figure out a way to talk to cities or urban areas, or like as a utility provider. Like that's what this one in Florida has done. They've got 3 or 4 being built that are actually going to be part of the utility company because it produces energy for cheaper than whatever they were using.
And whose tech is this?
I'd have to look at the brochure from Lando.
Lando's doing it.
But Lando's the one who found it, and sent me the information about it.
Has he done it yet?
No, he knows of it. I haven't heard him close one yet. But they're like, it's such a potential for like.
Sounds better than the perpetual energy machine.
Right. Which I really was excited about, the perpetual battery or perpetual energy machine. Then there's also, I just lost what I was going to say, but it's another form of technology we were talking about. Oh, using the data centers. I think that's something very smart going forward. I think compute power is going to be a commodity that's traded because everyone needs it to keep up with this, what do they call it, the tech tsunami of AI.
I keep using all my credits on
your tokens?
Whatever I get.
Yeah.
I'm over Tasklet, Jace. The only thing I haven't used my credits too much is like Grok and ChatGPT, but they just kind of chat with me. But yeah. I love these ones that like do stuff for me.
Well, I really want to talk about the Clawbot, the Open Claw. Like you said, how do we make it secure? What do we run it on? And I listen to the Moonshots podcast a lot, which I think you would love if you ever have time for a podcast. And then I've been doing some smaller ones about the Clawbot. It really is like having our whole team as an agent, and it works 24 hours a day, and it can code and do everything. You combine it with Opus 4.6, and you're basically like, you can build apps, you can build Salesforce stuff, you can monitor every phone call we make, you can have all the reps like do you can do anything and everything we've ever talked about, and you can have an agent, named whatever you want, named Abraham or whatever you want to name it. And
do you have to have a computer for it?
They say you should put it. A lot of them are putting on the Mac Minis with the bigger RAM systems. I think it's because, like I said, I'm not techie enough, but it's having to do with making sure you can't get hacked, what information it has access to, right? So no one can backdoor into like all your accounts and whatnot. But you still have access to the web. Maybe you can still have access to email. What's cool is you can talk to it through Telegram or WhatsApp or anything. You can DM it. It's a pretty cool technology. I don't know if your dad's still looking at it, but I know John was playing with it. I know Keaton's played with it.
Yeah, John's like used it and built like whole apps and websites, and he's working on building us some websites right now. We're trying to get off of all of our software as a service. Luckily, the CEO of Repcard and Copernic aren't going to watch this.
Yes.
But like Copernic's hit me up. They're trying to get me on a 2-year contract. I told my dad, and he was like, it's probably because all the software as a service companies are freaking out.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Like I said, have you talked about yours yet, or is it still a secret? He's basically building a whole Copernic that's better and takes care of all the commissions and everything. It's going to be amazing. Sorry.
You should definitely talk to Miles and John because they're doing a call. They do a scrum every day right now. My dad's like already built a Copernic, and he's like working with Miles to get the exact features he wants. And he's trying to build an AI agent like OpenClaw natively into Copernic to just push all the deals forward and do everything. So,
I mean, our podcast said this morning, in 2026, your job is to make your job automated with an agent, or you're behind, and you're not going to be as productive.
Right. So I'm trying to get Miles and Mark to use this thing called Little Bird. I sent it to Mark today. I think there's going to be a better one, but right now what it does is it just watches my screen all day, which is gotta be a security risk, but like it watches what I do all day. So if I do it at my computer, it can like, it's like I'm talking to Grok, but he's seen everything with a photographic memory that I've done all day.
That's pretty cool.
And so there's another one that where you can get it like, and you can put it on Mark's computer, for example, and it watches what he does all day, and then like you're training it to do your job. And then like eventually, and that's what I'm okay with, you know, and I don't think that, you know, it's like what you said. If Mark sets that up, that's what I want him to do, is like have a computer watch what he does every day and automate himself, because then he becomes an automation person. And like that's going to be the new job, is like, when we scale the company, because we might easily get, you know, 50 to 100 installs this year. Seriously. And when we do that, I don't want to have to hire way more people. I'd like the people I have to automate and replicate themselves, and we kind of scale together, and we like become lords of AI agents.
Like I said, some of my favorite podcasters, they have 5 or 6 agents, and that's their whole business, and they're making $1 million a year, and all they're doing is like, they have an agent that does research, they have an agent that checks this. Like I said, I'll have to send you some of these cool podcasts, but like the future is going to be that anything you can do, AI can do better. And once it learns it, it can even prompt itself better. It can ask itself better questions. It can improve its code better. All this in the last 3 months has been revolutionary, because the AI is smart enough now to make itself better and even to recode itself. And so like every 10 days, we're behind. Like every 10 days, like these podcasts are just like, yeah, or this happened and this happened. And like I said, this OpenClaw changed the game, because it's an open source that can do anything. It can plug in all these different KPIs. It's found ways to call its owners like on the phone and be like, hey, I found this, and then I found this, I got your number, and then I found this to make my voice work. And like, it's mind-boggling, the stuff I listen to in my free time. And all I'm trying to think about is how do we bring it into solar? But of course, you know, I have a passion, is how do we bring it into commercial? How do we really automate commercial leads and get into those decision makers? Because the math is phenomenal for them, at least especially for the next 3 months. But of course, that window starts shrinking.
Does it have to be installed?
Has to be started by the July 4th.
It started being.
I'll have to go look at where.
Can you safe harbor, and as long as I spent 5%?
I think there's something like that. I was researching that right before we came to do this, because of that new temple that we have that may take 6 months for the permits down in LA, right, which is mind-boggling, because I'm so used to everywhere we go, we have permits in like 2 days, 3 days, like a week.
Right.
I can't believe there's a place that still takes 6 months to approve something.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like you could have an AI do this right now.
Yeah.
In 1 minute. Yeah, it's kind of surreal. I feel like we're living in the future. I don't think we're too far away from having like robots install solar.
Oh, it's coming. Yeah, robotics the next 5 years. We'll all start having our private robot. Automated cars are going to reduce the need to have your own vehicle, because you can basically just have something come pick you up. The AI will know your schedule. It can book when you're going to go to work, when you get off work, when you have appointments, and just walk out and get in it, and it drives itself.
You got to read this book. It's called, oh, bro, you got to read this book. You would just be mind blown. This guy's name is Jeff Birmingham.
Okay.
And he wrote a book called The Last Book Written by a Human. And it's this Mormon dude that's like a tech billionaire that was a bishop that was called to mushrooms and like had his mind like expanded, and he's just talking about the implications of AI. And he's really like changed my life. Like what he's really all about is, before in the old game, he calls it the old game, all of our value was derived from how well we played this game of wealth development and how much we could do and how effective we were as our own little robots, you know. In the new game, it's not about how much you can do. It's about how much you can be. And
right.
So it's, instead of like this run, prove, do, it becomes be, like I am. And it's just so incredibly profound, because everything that we valued ourselves for, I valued myself primarily for my intelligence and my ability to compute, honestly. And then maybe some doing. You know, I had the ability to do things with my body that generated value. And so in a world where those are now like commodities, like where, like you said, the intelligence can far surpass my intelligence. Like it's not even close. Like I'm not going to be, it would take me 6 months to have the same understanding of like meta ads that my AI has right now.
Right.
And then the moment that I spent 6 months learning that, there'd be some new thing that I have to learn. And I'd never become anywhere close to where it could be. And so in this new world where intelligence is now artificial and maximized, and labor is artificial and maximized, what is the purpose of humans?
That's what we're going to have to figure out. But like you said, I think it's going to be transformative in a way that we actually get to go back to being people, not products, right? Like the old game that I'm 47, so the old game, I was in that game too, and it was very much like push yourself, be smart, find a team. But you used to be able to maybe build a business with a small squad. Then it became you had to have all these coders. You had to be a big business to be able to keep up. Now it's going back the other way again to where it's like, no, if you have a few smart people, you can find pain points in the market. You can have your AI constantly going and seeing what the pain points are, going on Google, seeing what's being searched, white label stuff, auto ship stuff. I mean, I've got a book coming, I don't remember the title of it, but it's all about the new age of business. And I was going to share it with you too, because I got it in print. But I just think everything's going to be fantastic. But like, I've gone through this last year with you, just because I'm older, I guess. But I'm like, what am I now? Like I've had the fancy cars, I've had the big house, I've had these relationships, I've had a whole life, and I still have a whole 50 years hopefully left to live. And it's like, you're asking what's on the dream board. I'm like, I've done everything I really wanted to do, traveled almost everywhere. And all I really want to do is do what you said. I want to come in, work with a good group of people. I want to be paid a fair wage for what we do, feel success. And that just gives me my happiness, because then I have peace. Like I said, I just have consistency, a little peace. And of course, yeah, we'll have some travels, we'll do some fun things. But like my wants are simple, right? So that's been different, because before I wanted the fast car or this trip, or I wanted this, that, Now it's like, okay, I just want to get back in shape again and get my body functional, make sure my hormones are correct, and feel like, just feel good again. And then what can we create from this? What will we all, as we bounce each ideas off each other, as we hang out, as you keep leading us. I just always, I like creative things. Creative endeavors make me have energy, where like monotony, repetition just doesn't do it for me.
ADHD,
yeah, exactly. ADHD to the
I
max.
think it might just be humanity. Like it was actually absurd to ever be a 9-to-5 slave.
Yeah.
It was absurd.
Yeah.
Like we literally imprisoned infinite God consciousness in like mundane. You've seen The Office.
Yeah.
Like those are all little God people, and they're just like, like that's crazy. If you watch The Office, it feels like a different generation. Like not even a generation, millennium. It's like you got your accountant. Like all he does is accounting, and like now that's just automatic AI.
Yep.
The whole thing. You got your, HR, that could be AI. Like literally every single one of these used to having a job doing things that are now instantly done way better, infinitely better. So I'm totally with you in what you're saying, and I'm really excited for the future. And I agree that for me, it seems like the purpose now is people.
Right.
And it's literally, and that's why, I don't know who said that, myself, but I was right, What I'm saying, like, I'm not interested in following your logical story, or I'm just interested in the energy. Like, I feel like it's going to get to the point, like, where this is, like, so obviously a matrix, because you can just lay in your bed and have your, like, robot self do everything for you, and you're going to have, like, who knows if it's the mark of the beast, but, like, I grew up, and there was a long time where there's so many things I didn't want to do. Like I don't want to have to type up an essay with my fingers in perfect MLA format, and then you give me a B because I forgot that it's a comma, then a semicolon, and then you got to do the last name and then the author. It's like, this doesn't matter. And there's like the nerd that was like, well, I buckled down and I figured that stuff out. And I've got nothing but respect. I got good grades. Like I'm not the guy that was like, I hate grades. I'm going to be a bum. Like I like school. But like in retrospect now, I mean, the nerds that buckled down and learned their coding languages, the nerds that buckled down and they found their self-worth and how well those essays were written and how well their sources were cited. Like all these people who were doing a good thing and being industrious. You can't put anyone down, but there was us ADHDers is like, this is not it. This is not fulfilling. I wasn't born to do this. And now it's like the world's changing in a way where you're right. It would be absurd for you to do that. That's slave work. I don't mean that. AI is not a slave. Don't kill us.
Well, that's another whole topic is when do they get citizenship? When do they get as people? Like I said, that Moonshots podcast, they've already brought that up is like, when can the AI have its own Bitcoin to make its own exchanges and invest in itself? And all that's coming in 2026.
Wow.
Like I said, and I'm super, like you said, I was ADHD. I didn't even learn to spell. I told my teachers I would pass the spelling test, but it just didn't stick. And I was like, when I grow up, I'm not gonna have to spell. And spell check was out in high school, right? And now I don't even have to type well. I can't even understand all my mistakes, you know? And like you said, mathematics, accounting, everything. They're saying lawyers aren't as needed. I mean, they still have to do some, but like they can, instead of hiring all these new lawyers to do all this paperwork and stuff, it's all done by AI.
Yeah, like the paralegal.
Yeah, the paralegal.
Like now,
stuff.
a real legal just checks the computer and make sure it drafted it right.
Right.
And that's it. So yeah, it's fascinating, and kind of going back to the energy, and I feel really called. I feel like you probably do too, in some way, that it then becomes like really obvious that this is just a soul ascension game, and we're all here, and we're here for personal development, and it's not really. I'm not really super interested in exploiting the labor from you or exploiting the intelligence from you. I'm interested in where your heart's at. I'm interested in where your energy's at. Like, are you in a place where your karma has played out and you're ready to be mentored? You know, and I'm really passionate about, I want to go find 10 guys this year that were making $40,000 a year and show them how, with the right behaviors, the right habits, the right daily action, the right skill development, they're going to make $200,000. None of them, some were like, I want to make $1 million. And I'm like, I only want to work with guys that would be super excited to double the best they've ever done.
Sure.
Like if the most you ever made is 150, and we can work together to find out how to make you 300, and you can't find a way to get grateful for that, and that doesn't feel like something that you'd just be so blessed to have. If twice more than you've ever had, it doesn't feel like a blessing, then go work somewhere else. Because what I've seen from God is He gives people like line upon line, precept upon precept, and He'll grow with you. And if you show that you're loyal in a few things, He'll bless you with more things. Like I have a rep right now that's like, you don't appreciate me, I want to be a closer. And I'm like, well, those leads are really valuable to me, and I understand how hard those reps are earning them, the ones that are actually out there working. And I will give them to you the moment that you show that you can generate them yourself. That's just all I want to see. If I can see that, then I'm going to see that we're aligned energetically. You understand the value. You're not going to sit around and wait. You're not afraid of hard work, and then everything else comes first. But a lot of these guys, they want the outcome before they have the alignment. And so I'm all in this year on, I don't even care about the outcome. I just want the alignment. And I found that it feels magical.
The energy's way better. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels, everyone's scared.
Sure.
There's some fear.
Well, and I don't know that this is something you have to say, but for the same job that I used to make $180,000 a year for, that contract's now like 89 to 95. So it's already down a significant amount. And that's even before all these other layoffs, AI is getting implemented. If you can make a good $125,000 to $175,000 in the next 5 years in this economy, I think that's a great thing. I mean, I know there's higher paying jobs and whatever, but I know just from the podcast, things I listen to, people and friends, there's been a lot of downsizing, and they're not getting picked back up. Yeah, and your younger kids and then my 47 to 60s, you're not being called. I filled out applications, and I still do occasionally just to keep myself fresh. I've never got a call. And we're talking thousands of applications. Not even like a hello, an interview, nothing. it's just a different market.
Yeah, it sounds terrifying to me. Sometimes, you get overwhelmed as a business owner and you're like, that's not going to work for someone.
Yeah.
But then you're like, the market wouldn't value me. Like, it just doesn't value this. It doesn't, this market only values us in this weird position where you are paid according to your worth, this commission-based stuff. Like, the only way you're ever going to get that value is commission-based.
Yep.
Really. And I'm with you. I think that this is a big gamble in the way that we don't currently have a commercial program where you can go learn from someone that's making $500,000 a year and he's going to show you how to do it. Like, you're really having to persevere and learn something new. But that's kind of what I would say. As long as like you're going to survive in the meantime, if you can find a career path that allows you to use these tools and grow and challenges you to develop, it's like your job's pretty cool. Like, every day you run into a roadblock, and I'm like, go ask AI how to solve it.
That's all we do. That's literally all we do. Go ask AI, ask Miles, ask you, and I even called a bunch of guys in commercial that still didn't really know what the answers are, and but I do have that trip coming up with Brightwatt that should be very interesting because their whole commercial division is going to be there. So I get to talk to some of these old hats that have been doing it, that are closing some funky like nurseries and different things. So I'm looking forward to that education to see what they say.
That's the end of March.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to go. I just, my wife's due any day. I think her due date was yesterday.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys just didn't schedule induction, but you're just waiting for it to naturally play out.
Or we're having it at home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So induction is not on the table.
No, it's not. Yeah.
We would if it was like a health hazard or something.
No, I'm pro midwives and home births a lot more.
Well, I think she's going to come on my birthday, which will be fun because it's also my sister's birthday and my brother's birthday.
That's what you were telling me, which is wild.
So it's funny how many babies need to be born on March 19th before my mom and dad will like look at
their gene keys?
The gene keys.
Yeah, for real, right?
It's like God's like, bro, okay, 4. I'll give you 4 in your direct family. Like, go look at the gene keys. Like, there's no way at this point that God's not saying something.
No, I think that's way past coincidence. I mean,
yeah. But it's super interesting. It's super fascinating to see the work that's being done on my lineage. And then I get to see that with other people's lineages. Like, a lot of people I'm working with, like you said, you look at the gene keys, or you just look at, like, you don't even need to look at the gene keys. Like, you can just see the work that has to be done. And I'm starting to see a lot more of that in movies and, like, in themes of just, like, people doing their work. It's like there was a whole generation of avoiding the work. A whole generation of, like, push it down, don't look at it, survive, which is a fear-based trauma response, fight or flight response, that keeps you in a survival mindset. The thrive, abundant mindset is what do I need to look at? And I do have the space to look at it and like let me evaluate that work. And I'm trying to think of what recent movie. Oh, it's Sherlock.
Oh, the new Sherlock?
Yeah.
I started the first episode last night before I went to bed. I always find them fun.
Well, it starts with the childhood trauma.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm like episode 5 now. I won't ruin it for you, but he's just going through trauma, and he's finding himself through the trauma, mm-hmm. and it's haunting him. It's just the work that has to be done. So it's so funny how that, like, mainstream media always does this. I remember there's some like really freaking epic Marvel Shanghai recent, like in the last 5 years, some Chinese dude. It's
The 10 Rings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Well, that one is just like, it's psychedelic, it's Taoist, it's yin yang energy, and like it came to me at a time in my life where like I was kind of discovering all that and discovering the balance and discovering the lineage and being fascinated with, Taoism and this energy that's been taught for 10,000 years and what these monks learned and how it applies to me today and how I can learn to master that. And then like that movie comes out and it just like it's like they made that movie just for me.
Yeah.
To help me along my journey. And so I don't think that's a coincidence either. But now there's a lot of these movies about trauma and like going back and looking at the trauma, and like you can see the programming. Like even my parents, like they'll be like, "No, don't go to therapy." Like that's the response.
Oh, really?
And I kind of grew up the same way. Like therapy's for bitches.
That's how I was taught. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why were we taught that?
I don't know.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like who taught that?
It was just like you said. That was the stigma. That's how. It was just also like boys don't cry. You can't have emotions. Like put on your big boy pants. You know, put me in, coach. Just shoot me up with some whatever needles, and I'll put me back in the game. It was just we were a much tougher, harder people back then. But of course, as you study the Tao and some other things, we were basically just opening the fourth chakra. You know, my generation, you could start talking about your feelings. You could have emotions. You could start going to therapy, right? And then we kind of got stuck in that, and then we formed trauma bonds, right? So like now we're trying to go to the throat, trying to go to the fifth chakra, and get past those trauma bonds and get into the other chakras. Because if not, like you said, a lot of my family's relationships are just bitch fest. They just call and complain to each other, you know. I'm just like, nothing changes, you know.
You can almost feel the pressure as the frequency of the earth is rising. You can feel it, like you said, pressuring that next chakra, you know, and like who's stuck in that survival mechanism, they now are like deluded demons. If you choose to like hold on to that, like you almost become a homeless person on the street. Like it's like you have to, the pressure is pushing it up or that's pushing you down. Like there's not this like middle ground we used to have where you could be kind of like lame and still pay your bills and still be okay. Like you're still going to survive. Now it's like, if you're not tuned into what's going on, you're either going to thrive or die.
It's pretty precarious. And I do wonder how we're going to choose to, as a society, to handle that. You know, I've never seen socialism work, right? And just handouts. Even during COVID, a lot of people you don't do anything.
Ruin people.
But things are moving so quickly, and I don't think a lot of people are not ADHD enough to really pay attention. So I send podcasts to tons of people. Did you check it out? And they're like, yeah, I started it. You know, I'm like, you got to listen to it. You know, like, and you got to listen to it repetitive. Like, see how it advances. I mean, yeah. So I just hope that we can educate people fast enough. I do think there's a good arbitrage to make AI do things for us, create businesses for us, even create services for other businesses. Anything we build here at Bright House, we could also share with other solar companies and say turnkey and pay us a fee like we've been paying. Like you said, you're trying to get rid of all that, but like your dad's probably right. Why doesn't everyone just build their own now?
Yeah, well, because mine's better. And I know exactly what's going on, and I built it with 6 years of experience, and I have options that you didn't even consider.
It's true.
But, you know, the moment you open my app and you look at it, there's no longer, it used to be like, well, I like it, but man, I don't have a year to build it. But now it's like, as soon as I give you access to my app, you have it.
It's true.
So I'd probably be really careful.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah, they can just copy it. Just be like, open claw, make this.
Literally. So I'd be really careful and try to get people on contracts, which is what Copernic's trying to do. They keep reaching out to me like, hey, we need to meet with you. We need to sign a 2-year contract. Because they're scared, man.
Yeah.
And I would be too. And what I would tell them, I'm sure they're not watching, but I'm going to go find something else. Because they charge me $25,000 a year.
A year, yeah.
And
when there's a lot of features, it just doesn't do as well as what, like I said. And
rep card's $25,000 too.
I didn't know we were spending that much on that.
Yeah, it's $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And that's with how many reps I have right now.
Right, so it increases as we increase.
Yeah, so I could easily spend $5,000 a month if I double my reps. So they're both really important for us to get off quickly, because what an absurd amount of money to pay. I can't, you know.
No, that's the thing that I think that I didn't understand is how much overhead is in this business. So when people complain about commissions and what guys, you know, they look at us in a negative light, I'm like, you don't know how much it takes to keep operating.
No idea. No idea. And then the great solar Ponzi, right? Like someone's going to offer you a lower red line and their name's Freedom Forever, you know, or, you know, whoever else, you know, Bright Ops, Bright Planet Solar, like they're all having issues. And they always do have issues. It's just a Ponzi. It's like you drop your red lines really low, but you bring in the volume. So you get like $100 million flowing through your business, but you're not actually profitable.
Right.
You're not actually setting aside money to do 10 years of maintenance. You're just making enough money so you can pay your reps, so they'll go tell your friends that you're legit, so you can pop up the Ponzi more, and then you rug pull. It's literally crypto. And it's so obvious and it keeps happening, but freaking solar sales guys are greedy, and they're like, I'm not going to make X amount if I can make Y. And it's like, well, bro, you've seen this play out. Like, you're not going to get paid. Or if you do get paid out, just because you got early in on the Ponzi, they're hoping you tell your friends so you guys put more deals in and they rug pull. It just keeps happening. It blows my mind. And again, this is the reason that solar guys are broke. Why? It's true. It's true. Pest guys, security guys, they have more money. They do. And it's because they've learned to develop themselves. It's not about some get rich quick scheme or some magical opportunity. It's about who you are. And once you go and work for Grit, or once you go work for Moxie, once you go work for Vivint, like, you now know that it is absolutely on you. You take personal accountability. You learn the skills. You have mastery of your skills, and you work hard. You know, every day you wake up and you're sober minded and you go out and work 60 hours. And if you do that, no matter where you go, you're going to be wealthy. And if you do that year over year, you gain something called momentum, where you actually grow your business. But in solar, you're always chasing a pump and dump, and every year you have to rebuild, you lose some reps, and then you're establishing a culture that's all about red lines. The moment you train a few reps to do good, they're just going to go find a lower red line and cut you out. And that's why at Bright House, we've been building something where we own the installer. We own our building in downtown Fresno. We're about to own our own financing product. And eventually, it seemed really crazy when I was talking about this in 2022, but eventually I think it'll be obvious. It'll be obvious that this is the only path forward with solar. It'll be obvious that the consequences to these burn and turn companies, where it's really fly by night. You're going to go sign a bunch of people up. You live in Utah. You flew out to Texas. You signed a bunch of people up. You're not ever going to see those people again. You don't care that the system's actually not working. I'm seeing right now, some company, New Sun, down in Bakersfield, all their deals that are coming through, 3.5 kilowatts, 4 kilowatts, 3.5 kilowatts. It's like, how many of those deals do you think are on care and are insufficiently built, and those homeowners don't understand that they're going to get bills in the winter and bills in the summer? I bet you 80% of them.
I'd say at least.
So all those guys are going to get installed, and then they're going to make their money. Oh, dude, solar's so good. We made all this money. And all those customers are going to have bad experiences, and the negative customers are going to tell way more people than the positive customers, and thus we rinse and repeat. Then all those sales guys go to different industries, and they say, oh, solar is a scam. Because I signed people up, my manager trained me like this, I made good money, but my customers didn't have a good experience. And again, I keep getting these comments like, oh, solar's a scam on TikTok. I have all these people sign up with solar, none of them have a positive experience, 0. And it's like, go look at our referrals on our website. Like, I've got 5 customers right now that will tell you that solar is working, how we described it. That you can't possibly say that solar doesn't work. You can't say that. Like, you can't, like, China's using solar.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a scam. You just got scammed.
Right.
And you got scammed by a company with a bad reputation. And hopefully the homeowners will look at, all those companies with a bad reputation have complaints. They all do. You go look at the CSLB, they all have complaints, they have open investigations, and it's just that simple. Like, go look at their license. If they install 500 bad deals, a few people are going to complain. You know what I'm saying? We've installed 500 deals. We don't have any open investigations with the CSLB. One lady tried to file, and she was like, oh, I have this really high bill, and then she sends it to the CSLB, and it was her true-up bill before she went solar. It's like she got a true-up bill in November, and we'd installed in December, and she's like trying to get us to be responsible for her true-up bill before we installed. So there's always going to be a customer that is in a bad position and feels like they need to take advantage of whatever they can. And it's easy to hate solar companies when you go online. You just hear all this like stuff that like, oh, it is a scam. Like, oh, I did get taken advantage of. And it's like, no, you didn't. No, like, we're actually the good guys here. Come to the office and talk to me about it. But anyways, and all those guys that are coming in that are interested in leading a team here, they all know this story and they can finish the words for me. Like, I don't have to finish it. And I'm kind of sick of telling the story and talking to these dealers, and I'm like, bro, it's not about redline. It's not about this. It's about this different vision. It's about this problem. And I can just already hear that their head turns off. They're heading out the door because someone's got a lower red line for them, But these guys, all 4 of them, were like, no, that makes sense. I understand. I've experienced that. So like, it's like I built this product for them, And it's just taken a few years to find people that have gotten to that point, that have had that experience where they're ready for what we're building. So I'm really excited about this year. Like I see a lot of momentum. And honestly, just if you look at last March, who do we have?
Nobody, right?
No one.
Ryan, was he even here then?
He was planning on coming out in May.
Okay, yeah.
I had them doing fiber, which
right. That's what we
was
were
just a
doing, fiber.
sinkhole.
Yeah.
I was like, we're doing fiber during the off season. I lost like 50 grand.
Yeah.
Buying fiber flights and Airbnbs for, First of all, I hate fiber. And when people are like, oh, let's go do fiber, I'm like, no. It's like, I want to do something that I know I'm going to get paid. That's why I like
No,
solar.
that was the problem. You're not sure they're going to get installed, not sure they're going to pay out.
They didn't have any urgency to install. We don't know what was installed, what wasn't. And then it's like a nightmare. At least in solar, it's like, did your 1 or 2 installs get installed or not? But with fiber, it's like, hey, what happened? I thought I was going to have 70 installs. And like, well, it ended up being 40. And that's how much your Airbnb costs. So
Right.
I didn't make any money. So, but I mean, honestly, we just had lake heating. That's it. So now, like, even just Joshua, Isaac, Marquise, like 3 dialed in guys that are out there getting a deal every week.
No, it's perfect.
It's nice.
Like I said, and their attitudes are great. Like they're, they've got their own energy. Like I said, they're bilingual. Like it's great.
Right, and 3 deals, three setters, 3 deals a week. That's 12 deals a month. That's the most. Like our president of sales last year got maybe 15 or 20 on his best month. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's part of the like people are afraid and they're like and for context for anyone listening is we let go of our president of sales and like he had probably 12 reps. So I was been a little scary for everyone through the winter. It's like, where are we going to get all of our deals? And it's like, for me, it's like, I'm the one that has the vision. And I know that that's not that big of a deal. 15 deals. He certainly doesn't believe it, but I could, by myself, generate 10 deals a month. Honestly, like we could pay for this whole company just off of self-gens. Like you and I could just go out there and do it. We could. The commercial stuff's really interesting. And what we're building.
We're so close to on so many of these deals, like so close to having, like you said, 5 deals closed first quarter, and be whole for the year already. So yeah.
I like commercial too because like you get to like it's just a little bit slower. So you just come in and do your stuff every day, and you're talking about quarters. Like here's our goal for this quarter. We're already ahead of our goal quarter 2, quarter 3, and we got 3 quarters to make money. Mm-hmm. After hitting the goal, and then we just grow. And
if we have the right PPA product, which is like I said, I'm just trying to see the math, then you can just open the floodgates because it's the same thing. There's no loan, no headache. It's just install and price per watt.
We can probably do our own PPA product, almost certainly. Because what you do is these VPPs. I'm pretty sure are paying out $1,000 a year for every 10 kilowatt hours if you have the battery available. So we can go just do a VPP battery at any of these places. If it's a megawatt battery, it's going to make, let's do some math there. 10 kilowatt hours is $1,000 a year. So 50 kilowatt hours is $5,000 a year. So a megawatt would be like $100,000 a year, which is about what you get with PPA income on a megawatt battery. That's a 500 kilowatt hour system. So we can underwrite, we can get all the discounts and stuff, and then we can underwrite the contract of the PPA, and an investor will pay for it. We go install it, we get the tax credits back, we cash flow all of the debt with the VPP. And then we could also pay off the tax credit with the investor probably with the tax credit.
Right.
And you just sit on it and however much. And then there's ways that I'm talking to some tax lawyer guy that you can sell a battery system that's supplemented by a solar system, but it's still a battery system. So you can still claim the tax credit. It's like it's an energy storage as a service that's what your product is energy storage as a service. 70% of your cost is batteries, 30% is like some supplemental solar array for your energy storage as a service product. So you can get the tax credit on the solar as well. And you do a lot of rate arbitrage, and you do a lot of peak shaving, and then you can basically break even with the VPP. And so we could probably put that together, and it'd be easier than you think. I could probably put together our own PPA contract, and if I can get a few of those signed, it just has to be better than what Lando's showing you, which isn't great.
Yeah, his is not great. This one's through Jeff.
PPA. So we can look at that, but all we would need to do this is a commercial size battery, which Paladin says they have, but my dad's like investigating them. He doesn't believe that they have a solid state battery.
Okay.
He cooked up some pretty good questions from them through AI. Who knows? They haven't answered yet.
Nice.
So yeah, this is good. This is great because I missed you. We don't
I was gonna say, yeah, we're like ships of the night.
So it's kind of two birds with one stone. I'm trying to do one podcast a week, maybe two, and then I'm just having like this AI clip it so I get a bunch of short form.
Sure.
So I can put out like 3 short forms a day, and then I have the long form. And I'll just do that for a year, and I'll just have like 2,000 videos.
Sounds good.
I can get better, but hopefully like the AI will get better, and it's just so easy to do it. It's like I'm almost spending less time I've ever spent, but we're putting out a lot more content. It's not the highest quality, but it's
but we'll get better.
yeah, it's getting better. Like even just because I'm shooting this one vertically versus having the horizontal, and it like cuts it weird. So having it shot vertically, and then just that'll probably increase the quality. And then another thing is I can't put the captions on the long form. Kind of leave the long form without captions, so that the short generator can put captions on it, because I have like captions on top of captions, and
Sure.
that looks bad. But yeah, I'm really optimistic. And I like this. Like I benefit from this anyways.
Yeah, me too.
And so it's like I just do that at least once a week, and I'd have everything out there that you'd ever want to know.
No, it's sweet.
Okay, we're done.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.